All right, part 2.
Are we on?
Okay. Yeah, part 2.
Okay.
Right.
So I want to do Lord of the Rings, but it's too much. He's too.
Yeah. So right now we're talking about if you could teach a class like about storytelling or writing or anything, what you would use as like your supplementary material if you could pick anything, any movie, show, book.
And now, I suck this man's dick all day, but I'd have to probably Mistborn.
Brando Sando's a solid choice.
I out of anyone right now, I feel who is publishing books, he's got it. Like
he's nailing it.
He has a formula, man.
He has it down to such a science. He's coming out with extra books.
Yeah. He's just a book factory. But besides that, it's just like this. The books are just so approachable, and then like each one is its own like self-contained thing, like, and they're each unique in their own way. Like he's got it. Like, and then Mistborn, I always do that as like the introductory. If you're going to start reading Sando, start with Mistborn, go from there. And then that was the one I started with, and I was hooked instantly. Like, it just hit all the right beats.
I mean,
it was really cool. Storytelling was there. His prose is like not, phenomenal, but it's like it's still good. It just has everything you need. Like, bam, right there. And like, if I had to teach class, it'd just be like, you don't need to be Tolkien. Like, you don't need to be Sanderson, but you like, if you want like a formula to work off of, like, look at this man. Yeah. Like, he's got it. Like,
that's a really good answer. I mean, I remember my publisher when I was writing my first book and we were editing it. They asked me to read something because it was available for free. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't have told me to because I'm poor. But they recommended that I read, I think it's Warbreaker, because it was available for free on Goodreads, I want to say. Doesn't matter. I was able to read it for free. And I literally read that. I woke up, like, read the email, all this stuff, started reading it, and then that was what I did that day. I read all of it in one day. That was all that I did. It was great. I loved it.
Yeah, Warbreaker's a good one, man. Like, fucking magic being fueled by color.
Yeah. It's literally like fucking experiential rather than like some like ethereal like, oh, now I'm tired after. No, your worldview changes when you use magic and are good or bad at magic.
Yeah, you're just sucking up other people's half souls, basically. And then you get enough of them and you can see more colors.
Yeah.
Things like taste better. You eventually there's levels to it. Heightenings.
The heightenings.
Eventually you get perfect pitch. Just because you just have enough souls, basically.
That's pretty cool.
And you can use those, and you just animate things.
You just like make whites and ghouls and shit, or
no, like you animate objects.
You can okay. like one of the things that happens in the story is to climb the tower. One of the characters uses their power to literally make the I think it was a scarf they were wearing go over their hands. And like help them climb.
Yeah, it's like it's either like a scarf or like I think it's like tassels on the sleeves of his jacket, and you have to do specific commands. And that one was like something and become as my fingers. Yeah, and then it was like he has like robo hands now,
but magic.
Like made of magic cloth.
So okay,
then he just climbs up the side of a building.
Pretty cool.
And then when you're done, you just suck them back up.
Yeah. The only way to like lose one is to like fully spend it, where it's like you either like give it to somebody,
or
well, you give it to somebody else, or you put it in something that you can't go get.
Yeah, and they'll just stay in there. If no one claims it again, like it
just stays there.
It just chills in there.
You could conceivably find like an ancient arrowhead on the battlefield, and it still has half a dude's soul in there.
That's one of the characters does is she puts them all of hers in like her scarf.
Yeah.
So that people can't steal it, and then but she puts all of them in there.
Because if it's in you, they can kind of just steal it.
And she's now when you don't have any, they're called breaths. When you don't have any breaths, you become drab, which is like
you look uglier.
You're like you're just like,
and you're unhappier than most people. You're
literally like paler, like you have less color to you. Yeah. Life is just shitty.
You're like it's
She's
like
homeless.
you are the
during this
only
time.
person in any scene that has the sad Victorian filter over them.
Use the sepia filter.
Yeah, just everyone else is regular and you're sad sepia, just gray.
Tiny Tim factor.
Yeah.
Yeah, Warburg is great.
So yeah, any sort of Brando Sando work is a solid answer.
I'm trying to think. Well, I guess any fucking book. So.
Any book, show, movie.
So one series that was very formative for me was The Black Company.
Oh, I remember The Black Company.
And I think they're making a show adaptation.
They are.
So.
Or were at the
Yeah,
time that I recall.
Yeah, this was a recent announcement, so hopefully they still. I think it might be Amazon, and there's a lot of potential there. Especially, so it's funny when I first read it, I was like, they could never make a show or a movie out of this. No. It's too fucking edgy. But when I was reading that was like 2007.
I was reading it in high school.
Yeah, same. So
sometime between like 2007 and 2012.
Yeah, so I read it around like 2007, and so that was before we went full tilt edge mode because everything's fucking falling apart. So
yeah,
in the current environment, the Black Company makes perfect.
It might be regular edgy now.
It's literally it's Berserk if it was just about the Golden Age, and if they didn't have Griffith instead of Griffith being this like noble he's fucking pragmatic, but he's gonna take care of his boys. No, all that matters is the Black Company exists. You don't fucking matter. We don't even use your fucking name. Pick a nickname, motherfucker. The doctor, the chronicler, is named Croaker. Because, well, what do you do when you go to a medic and it doesn't work out? You croak. So he's the Croaker.
So everyone just has like a title nickname to further dehumanize them.
And then off the bat, so I'm pretty sure Glenn Cook, the author, was a Nom. And, don't fucking quote me on that. I'd have to look it up. He went to war. But, I'm pretty sure he went to war. And if that is the case, to me it's evident, or if at least he's spoken with people. Yeah, pull out that phone. Hell yeah, thank you, friend.
Hold on. I think
because I bring it up because
it's the same man.
It had one of my favorite early on unexpected character deaths of doing the thing where you play up them being the main characters in the cast of personal dehumanizing them and taking their names away. But one of the characters was Tom Tom. Yeah. Tom Tom had a drum. And the two drumsticks like a tom-tom, so his name was Tom Tom, like his drum. And his brother was one of the wizards, One Eye. And so, magic was really weird in that. They didn't really fully explain how it worked.
That was complicated.
Some people were gifted, some people weren't.
It was a very soft system.
It was an extremely soft magic system. I would go far to say it's basically low fantasy. I mean, not quite, but anyway. But it ends up becoming high fantasy by the end of it. Yeah. But, it really starts very tame.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought he might have been the same person who did the Sword of Truth, but
Can you check if he went to Nam? If you don't mind, I just want to know if he was actually a warbender. I don't want to.
You guys were just talking about how it's super edgy and shit. And I was like, is this
the
Sword of Truth guy?
Oh man,
that explains everything.
That's edgy in a different way. That's edgy, yeah. I mean, I guess not in the same way actually. No, similar, not same. Similar. Not gratuitous. In the same way, Berserk's wasn't gratuitous.
Right. It was more indicative of the setting.
And it also explains Raven's behavior because the pure amount of tragedy. He's like, all right, well, we have to do fucking something. Yeah. Whereas in any other circumstance, they'd walk by. There was no reason to pick up Rose. Yeah. Or Darling. There was no reason to pick up Darling, except okay, well. The soldiers did that, and we don't work for the Empire. We work for the Empire, but we're not the Empire. We're better. We have to be better. Right. And the captain was like, all right, yeah, for morale, we do have to be better. We could use a mascot. And then, lo and behold, that's the Chosen One. Which is, really cool storytelling. That,
I'm trying to move my foot.
Basically, when you break it down to the elements of what happened there, yeah, it's literally child. Yeah, that's fucking terrible. Yeah, I don't want to read about that. It's not. They don't flesh it out. Basically, they walk upon these dudes and they beat the fuck out of them and they explain what they were doing. Right. And then they pick up this deaf girl and her I guess grandpa or whatever, and she ends up being the chosen one, and the metaphor being that, like, typically atrocity and tragedy drives character and typically pays out in the end. Typically, the horrible things you go through are going to affect you in a way that will eventually affect and give you character or something in the future. But, like, with rape, that's fucked.
At the very least, that adversity can, like, despite going through adversity, you're still, like, a good and capable person that isn't marred by your trauma.
Yes, you know, like, no one should trivialize that shit, and no one should be like, you're stronger for it. Like, that's...
I really don't like the...
So I don't like that, but...
He was in the Marines for 10 years.
That checks out.
He apparently left, and it was in quotations, a month before the unit shipped out to Vietnam.
So he wasn't in Nam. Okay, haha, good. Thank you for... I'm not going to gas him up, but he was in the military. There we go.
Well, if he was in there for 10 years, they sent him places.
Yeah, no.
So he's definitely seen, like, the bad shit about humanity. He almost certainly was just like, we're going where? For what? I'm not
probably, that. And then start writing books.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. Which is why a lot of his work is informed about...
Now, in the event that this man is actually a shitbag or something, I have no problem.
Yeah,
I don't know him.
Man. I'm ignorant, man.
I'm not fighting for him.
Listen, we're wizards in the pursuit of knowledge, not because we know everything.
Yeah.
All right. In the comments, fucking blow my ass up. If Glenn Cook is like a bad person, tell me, please. Anyway,
we just know he's not the guy who wrote Sword of Truth.
Yeah, which I just don't even want to read that, man. I want to read about Demon Cocks, man. I'm good, dude. The amount of porn that had to have driven, the amount of, like, fucking horrible demon smut I see randomly, and I'm like, dude, who fucking thought of this shit? And then you tell me about the Sword of Truth, and I look at when that shit was written, and I'm like, that's what we call approximate cause in the insurance industry.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I tapped out. I was like,
okay,
you must enjoy it. Like, bro, I need to fucking not. So anytime someone says, "Oh, I love the Sword of Truth," it's like,
which
strike number one?
The series or the first book of the same name?
Yeah.
The first one, passable.
Yes.
Still had...
If it's only the first book that you're familiar with, then we may yet stand on even ground.
Had a lot of problems still. A lot of problems still. But it was like...
Right, but it was just dark fantasy level.
It was just like, this is edgy, whatever the fuck. But then 2 rolls around, and it's just all... And I'm like, alright, I just wanted the fantasy, like...
Yeah, dark fantasy shouldn't have to have... At a certain point, I thought it was eponymous with the genre, to the point that, like, anytime someone brought up, like, well, I can't read anything with genre, I'm like, well, then do you read any dark fantasy at all?
Yeah.
Which is, like, not good. It's not a good look of your genre, and, like, every fucking notable title, when I was younger, not anymore, obviously, clearly, but, like, going through, it's okay, Berserk, Black Company, like, it gets fucking...
It felt like it was in the DNA, you know? Like
I guess...
The only way to make dark fantasy was to include this.
Or it's just like a low-hanging fruit to, like, add, like, character development to a female character, and it's just cheap and not really effective. Until it is.
It's one of the funniest parts of reading all the 40K books, is, like, there's a distinct lack of it.
Which you would not expect.
Which is weird, yeah. With, you know...
One reason I like it.
Slaneshi cultists and shit out there, and even the Dark Eldar stuff, like, it didn't come up, like, ever. In the ones I've read, anyway. I mean,
because it's not porn. It's not supposed to be porn.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas some people just want porn, man.
All the horrible stuff is just, you know, like, body horror or whatever. Like, you know.
Yeah. It's really, they really focus on the body horror elements. And Slanesh is really more of a corruption element. They really try to play up.
Yeah. Slanesh wouldn't, like, run up to rape you. Slanesh would, like... start making you think that going to this orgy club that mysteriously has no idols to the Emperor in it is a good idea. And then you go, and it was a really good time. And, you know, actually some of these rules are lame. And then middle, now you've got like a crab arm and one tit. and shit's fucked, man. Like...
Yeah, that's how it goes. Slippery slope. Slippery slope, man. You gotta watch out for those dudes. They have the best drugs, though.
Yeah.
That's why you gotta watch out for them.
Yeah, because everyone's just a little bit keyed into, like, well, I want to be the best at this experience. You go to Slanesh, and they will make you the best at that experience. I want to be the best peniser in the world. Slanesh welcomes you. I want a new kind of heroin that can somehow heroin my soul. Slanesh is in it.
Yeah, he's just like, honestly, he's just really supportive.
I mean, yeah.
He just wants you to be the best at whatever horrible thing you want to do.
Well,
Even
Nurgle.
Well, true. Nurgle is the most supportive.
Nurgle's grandpappy.
He wants you to be happy, so not just supportive.
The fucking
Slanesh is enabling.
noise marine.
Enabling. That's
Yeah.
the word. That's the word. Yeah, supportive is a positive connotation that is not there.
No.
I agree completely.
Slanesh just wants you to go.
He
I want
wants
you
you
to
to go fast
see
and
how
fast.
far I can go.
Slash is the one just in the corner, just do it, do it, do it,
Yeah,
do it.
yeah, just. Dude, fuck it, I'm not your doctor, and hands you the fucking beer, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not your mom, unless you want me to be.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I'm not your mom outside the bedroom.
The Dark Prince, ladies and gentlemen. Fun.
Slanesh is
Or She Who Thirsts, as the Eldar say.
That's why I love that it's both.
Wasn't that something
It's
that Ricky
both.
called like one of his ex-girlfriends?
Was it, or, I shouldn't use fucking people's names. Whatever, man.
It is a great title.
Yeah.
I
She
don't
Who
fucking,
Thirsts.
yeah, I don't remember. She Who Thirsts. That's so fucking good, dude. He had a lot of names, like Thirsty Cat was a good one. That was one of the Nova.
I think that might be the one I'm thinking of.
A Thirsty Cat, yeah,
Yeah.
She Who Thirsts. Okay, Thirsty Cat. I never got Thirsty Cat's real name.
No, I have no
yeah,
idea.
She Who Thirsts. Yeah, that adds up. There we go. Boom. I was going way farther back than that. That's funny. That's funny.
Oh my gosh. So, back on topic.
Oh yeah, what's your answer?
So, my answer that I've had for like a while now is the first 3 Pirates of the Caribbeans. The movies. That trilogy of movies is...
What to do, what not to do?
Well, the first 3 movies, I think that they're all exactly what to do things. They just don't all play equally.
And before you start, I'd like to comment that one of the things you're going to bring up, I personally took as advice in the novel I'm working on, and it instantly made it a more robust novel. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So I've had this conversation with Tony before. We literally had this conversation.
Yeah, I think we actually
with-
brushed on the last episode a little bit, but yeah, I thought
Yeah.
I could go into detail for sure.
But with like Curtis and Kelly.
yeah, we did. Oh, that's why I heard it. I thought,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So, Pirates of the Caribbean is a masterclass in everything storytelling wise, and they're so good at it that most people don't even realize that's what's happening. So the advice that Tony's talking about is, how do you introduce your characters? Do they just show up one day? No. The best way to introduce a character to make them leave an impression in the reader to the point where the reader will come up with the personality themselves. So that person will be so real, is you introduce them at their most extreme. Now, this isn't to say like them pushed as far as they can go. Like Jack Sparrow is introduced as like he looks super piratey, but he's specifically posing on the crow's nest of a ship. And it's super awesome. And as it keeps zooming out, you realize that this crow's nest is, 1, of a very small ship, but 2, the ship is sinking. So, he is a pirate on a sinking ship, and then it gets exactly to port, and he is able to, like, step one great big step off the crow's nest and onto port, and now he's off to his next adventure.
My man is literally on a sinking ship and gets off on the last foot.
Yeah.
Literally.
That is the most extreme Jack Sparrow. Jack is always in a bad situation, normally of his own design. Jack is always ready to roll with the punches. Jack is also extremely lucky, and he's able to make everything look like it was planned. But also, he's able to plan shit, clearly, because he would have panicked if he didn't think that he could take that last step off onto the pier, but he knew it would happen. He's able to plan it, but also he's able to make it look like he planned it. That is the perfect introduction of a character, in my opinion. That is him at his most extreme. It tells you everything you need to know about him. And from that moment, everyone already knew Jack Sparrow. We didn't need to wait to see how the movie would turn out to see if we really understood Jack Sparrow. He pulls a gun on Will. Nobody's like, I guess this Jack Sparrow guy's kind of a rapscallion. No, everyone's like, that's classic Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, of course he did that. Of
course he
Hell
did.
Yeah.
Pirate.
What a scoundrel. Yeah, even they call it,
Yeah,
boom.
he does that. And like even at the end when he reveals that actually he stole a piece of gold too, so he's cursed. and then he throws it back in, ending the curse so that the villain can be, Barbossa can be shot and killed. It's all unexpected, but of course it goes that way. But we know that from the beginning of the film. That's a perfect character introduction. Every character's introduction tells you enough about themselves so that nothing that they do from there on out is a surprise. It's unexpected, but it's not a surprise. Of course that's what they do. And over the course of these 3 movies, these characters have huge arcs. Not Jack so much. He does have like his arc. But like Will Turner and Elizabeth have gigantic character arcs that see them changing from different people between each movie. But at the same time, no matter where you go, it's unexpected, but it's not surprising that that character became that character. Beautiful. I could talk about these movies and like the implements of writing that made each thing perfect. I could do this for hours.
It's no surprise that like after making the Pirates movies, Disney made Iron Man.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I remember being in 11th grade and Disney bought Marvel and everyone in that room was like, "Oh, they're going to ruin it." And I'm like, "You're all fucking dumb." The last million Marvel movies have all been hot trash by Fox. The fact that they kept X-Men as an atrocity, because my boy Doctor Doom was going to get shafted for another, I don't know how long. But Disney might be able to actually make some decent fucking movies, because that's all they do is make dreams. Their only fucking goal in this world is to make American dreams and to drive American perception of what dreams are, which is pretty nefarious, but when done properly is good.
It can be very good, but Disney as a corporation is...
You know what I mean? Like,
you have your opinions.
You just have to know what you're doing. Like, you know, you can do some good with the evil, right? So, fucking... They made Iron Man, and it's also crazy because Iron Man was one of the first CGI movies to not, like, have shit CGI, but it was a calculated move. You told me about it, because you could do metallics easy, but you couldn't do flesh, and that's why the first Hulk movie looked fucking gross, because it looks like a goddamn inflatable goddamn putty monster.
Yeah.
But whereas when metallics...
We're real good at making, like, metallic surfaces.
Which Iron Man, it's literally the Ironmonger and Iron Man, that the two things that are on the screen 80% of the time are both metallic. So they look fucking sick nasty on that
everything
screen.
else can just be regular real life shit like sports cars and houses and shit.
And then, which is a calculated tactical move, because by the time they make enough revenue off of that and get to the next goddamn thing, technology should be sophisticated enough to move to the next thing. Because they're smart and plan ahead, unlike a lot of fucking people these days.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, I don't know what they're doing now. Like I said, this is 2007 Disney or 2010 Disney. 2010. Well, so Iron Man came out in 2010. They were producing this shit around 2006, probably, right?
I thought it came out in 2008.
Maybe it did. I could be wrong.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
This is past Disney, which is more willing to do work on these things that like are important to the entire experience.
Yeah, let me fact check on myself.
This is before Marvel.
2008, you're right, 2008.
Before Marvel movies printed money.
Yeah, before Marvel movie became
anymore.
Before Marvel movie became a kind of bad.
I think it's
a genre unto itself.
Yeah, a genre unto itself, and it's not spoken of with reverence.
It stopped being about action movies and became superhero movies, and now the superhero movie genre is its own genre, and they're not that good.
So, like, one of the things I was talking to Kelly about was, like, when is a plotline forced? We were talking about Succession or something, and the rule that I told her was, a plotline is forced if there's nothing that like, if we look back on some part of it, and we, like, think about, like, where's the only place that story can go, if it, like, has that, like, breadcrumb explaining it, then it's not forced. It was a part of it. It might not be done well, but it's not forced. It was foreshadowed. I think the thing that we were talking about at the time was a character in Succession is like getting over using drugs, and then they get put in a very stressful situation, and then by the end of the series, they're back on drugs and it's ruined everything. And I'm like, that's not forced. That's the only... There's no other reason to tell us that character had a problem with drugs, other than for this to happen. Otherwise, that's more of just like a an aesthetic choice rather than like a character choice. Where was I going with that?
Just talking about
Writing? That's
Yeah.
right. Okay, good. Good. Yes. I can be a clever man, microphone people, I like to think, but I'm also
yeah, you know, it'd be like that. It do be like that.
some very mean words for the intellectually disabled
yeah.
are also applicable to me.
Yes, sir. Is. Yeah, right. Yeah,
We're
here
all
too.
special boys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
in our
we're-
own way.
We're all special.
God spent some extra time on all of us. that much is for certain.
Oh, the dance. I forgot about that.
God bless.
Beautiful, Mario. I love you.
Oh,
so
the
much.
dance. Oh, man. Dude, how do you fucking do that?
How could this
I mean, no, I would have done the same thing, though. Honestly, I say that like I wouldn't have, but I have done the exact same thing. I've had my brother's friend. She's my friend, too. You remember Liz?
Yeah.
It's funny you remember Liz, you remember Adriana. Why
Oh,
wouldn't
God
you?
damn, dude.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, no, it's
Motherfucker. Anyway.
I've met Adriana definitely more than I've met Liz.
I went to this party at ODU at Justin's place, and she was literally grinding on my dick, and I just stood there because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. But like, I don't dance. I don't fucking know what I'm doing. I mean, I'm practicing now, trying to get some moves down so I can defend our honor in case we got to get served. But literally, that's the only reason.
So, see, like, how could you do that? It was real easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was fast.
Disregard women. Yeah, I mean, I would have done the same thing, man.
Ooh, sorry.
I don't
Yeah,
dance. I'm not
I don't
fucking
dance,
doing that,
so-
dude. I'm gonna read my goddamn book and I'm gonna enjoy it.
Yeah, it's like.
You want to talk about my book? I'll talk about my book, but I want to dance.
Empty chairs all around.
Yeah,
Sit
yeah.
down, you know.
Come on, sit down. We'll spend some time together,
Which
man.
that would have
But-
been the smooth thing to do, was invite her.
Yeah,
to sit
yo,
down,
yeah, true.
Which I didn't
true.
think about till later.
Yeah.
True.
I also didn't make the connection.
That she was asking you to dance rather than just asking you to partake of the concept
Specifically,
of dance.
She said, "You're welcome to join us,
Yeah.
not me."
Right.
And
Yeah.
so I was like, "Oh,
But
that's
the
nice." She wants to include me
Yeah.
in the group.
Yes, the social dynamic.
Meanwhile, she's like, get the subtext.
Yeah, and then later
Come on.
on, and then only when like Matt slid up next to me, and he's like, "So my cousin said she asked you to dance, and you said no," and I was like, "Oh, yeah, no, I definitely did that."
I guess that did
Special
happen.
boy.
Now that you put it out plain like that, that is what shook out.
Certified special boy. No, I'm there too, man. Dude, it's funny how many times like people are like, oh, you're flirting so much. I'm like, I'm not flirting. What are you talking about? And they're like, I don't know, man. I'm just an awkward, weird man, and I'm always going to be, and that's fine.
I was told recently by a girl that
I don't do it on purpose.
that I must be like a womanizer borderline because I speak as if I'm interested in them, but more importantly, I maintain eye contact. And she said she found that sexually intimidating, and I was like, in like a good way, and she's like, yeah, in a good way, and I'm like,
I hate that. I hate that.
I'm just sort of I'm doing crowd work actually, and that's what you're supposed to do so that they feel important. Everything is bits. This is a comedy show, not a romance.
Yeah,
I'm very sorry.
He is perpetually on 6 layers of irony. At least.
Which makes it very awkward when I have to be like, "Oh no, I'm sorry." You have to.
honey.
You gotta find somebody who's actually. I'm from the internet. I'm not real. You gotta find a real boy out there.
Bro, let's say you had Big Daddy interview. They would not stop talking about it, bro. It was really funny.
That made me very happy.
Yeah, I'm yeah. It's good. You're quite the looker sometimes.
Mario.
Isn't that
Mario.
Oh, dude, I'd eat you up, bro.
Isn't that just giving someone attention though? Like your
Yes.
full attention.
No,
Exactly.
that's what I'm saying.
You see,
People are so deprived that they're like, "Oh, you treat me with presence and attention." Oh my god, like
when you're having a conversation with somebody, if you
like
it's insane that people are like,
that's
well,
how
no,
you're
you
supposed to talk to
turned
people.
your whole body and looked at me right in my eye, and I'm like, yeah, I'm like an NPC where if you hit A, I do that.
it's all being polite. It's mannered.
That's what we're supposed to do. You know that, right? People don't know that, and people don't know that so hard that I was quote sexually intimidating.
what do you mean? I hate that. I hate
Microphone
that.
people, I'm a very soft-faced fat man, so take from that what you will.
He's a looker. Don't be fooled. I'd eat him up. But I'm like weird. Don't worry about it. We're not going to go into it.
It's just, I find that bizarre. I don't know.
It's first of all, it's a very bizarre thing to say at all, much less to the person. Imagine how awkward I felt being told that. It was awful.
Yeah, dude. Like, what do you do? What do you say to that? Like, do you like thanks?
I'll tell you what you say to that. You say, "Excuse me."
Yeah. Good move.
And then
Balls in their court.
And then they explain it, and now you're talking on your friend's podcast about it.
Yeah, well, there you go. Fuck, man.
It didn't go very fun.
What are the crazy ass Uber stories?
Oh, I have tons.
Yeah, what's a good one for the fucking
I mean,
podcast?
the one that comes to the top of my head is the gay mouth story.
It's funny, I was just thinking, as you were telling me that you were sexually intimidating, I thought, the fact that you have some DSLs could fuck with people, man.
God damn it.
I feel like I've heard this one before.
You probably have, but I'll go over it again for the microphone people. So, a while ago, it was COVID times, and as you're all aware, we wore our customary facial coverings, as was the style of the time. And I picked up a group of people who were coming from a wedding. It was 3 people. A couple, a man and a woman, and their friend, another woman. And while they're driving with me, I'm talking to them because I like to get 5 stars in tips. And I was being affable and charming as I like to think I am, and not creepy as I might turn out to be. But we were talking the whole time, and then when we get to where I'm dropping them off, which is the couple's apartment, they the third wheel, as it was she's sort of getting cranky, like she didn't like the situation. And they're talking about, no, let's go inside, we'll watch a movie or something. And she's like, no, if we go inside, we'll turn on a movie, and then you two will go into your room to fuck. And
classic move.
And they're like, not denying it at all, really. But they also sort of interpreted it as what, you need somebody to hang out with? Kevin's real cool. I'm an Uber driver, I'm a stranger, so this is a weird pitch to begin with. But Kevin's real cool, right? And I'm like, I could be cool. And they say you sound handsome. Show her that you're handsome. Take off the mask for a second. And I pull down the mask in order to do a bit where I was going to be batting my eyebrows and being like, I'm gorgeous. And then I pull down the mask, and she, well before I'm able to begin the bit, immediately is like, no, he has gay mouth. Which at the time I did not know was a phrase for men with prominent lips. At the time I believed it to be her trying to hurt my feelings.
His DSL,
which
lips.
it may have been a part of her motivations, but it did hurt my feelings.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing. I'm sorry.
It's a funny story.
You have beautiful lips. You have beautiful Princess Peach lips, like Tom Hardy. That's what they hide them all the time. And fucking, they didn't show them in Bane. They didn't show it in Mad Max.
Yeah.
Because they're distracting.
And anyway.
Your face. You microphone people, you should see Mario's face.
Is that why they had his mouth?
Yeah. Otherwise, that tough guy facade falls away.
It's gone. The second you look at his gorgeous, beautiful Princess Peach lips, you're like, well, that's a gentleman right there. That's not a badass.
He doesn't have Buscemi eyes. He has Buscemi lips.
Yeah.
Buscemi eyes are unsettling. Tom Hardy's lips are, inspired.
They don't match.
They don't match. They don't belong on his face at all. Okay. Look, people, look.
Anyway, from there, they got out of my car, and I drove away with my feelings hurt, and that's the gay mouth story.
That's good.
Tragic.
Good.
Yeah.
That's how it goes, man.
I'm pretty sure they tipped me $10.
Consolation.
Presumably because of the comment.
The outburst. Please don't give us a 1-star review.
Because I can only imagine from their side of it, they must have actually thought that I was at least cool enough to hang out in the other room while they plowed. Yeah. So he was like, I'll at least, I'll be cool to this guy. And
take over the team, Kevin.
And then, supremely, I was treated uncool.
Yeah.
And then,
They really did you dirty. Yeah.
But they gave me $10,
Well, I
so
guess
I'm
not,
fine.
yeah.
And now I also have this fun story that I get to tell.
Yeah, and it builds character.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
Did you ever figure out a different thing for teaching this?
You know what? If all genres, all nationalities,
mediums. Yeah.
Fish Story, or Mobile Suit Gundam, the movies, the trilogy. But like the thing is, the second one is a big ass because that's like 7 hours of content for a class. I don't know if I can fucking make him do that.
Tony,
what's up?
You're teaching master's level writing, which is obviously doesn't exist. Master's level writing. The homework for the course every week is watching episodes of Gundam, and by the end of it, you will have been forced to watch all of Gundam.
Yep. And if anything, you're welcome.
Yeah.
If you got anything out of this class, you're fucking welcome.
Write me a summary of each episode. You'll get an A.
And then we'll talk about the lessons that we've learned.
The thing is, I wouldn't do that with the original series because it's such a toy commercial.
Right.
It's such a gratuitous toy commercial.
Make that part of the questions. They have to write down every part of the toy commercial.
How many times? I mean, I could try to explain it to like a communication thing about like targeted ads and shit.
I mean, yeah, exactly.
This
is teaching a class of whatever.
You could really yeah. If the goal is just to teach the show Gundam instead of like the story of Gundam, then yeah. I could definitely fucking spin that shit.
Which class are you taking? Gundam 101?
The UC 101? Yeah, UC only, by the way, Microsoft people.
So also, I was talking to our friend Rob about this. About how, like, college can be a real scam now. It's not very, very good. Blah, blah, blah. We're not getting into that. Because what I wanted to talk to him about was how college used to be a much worse scam. Before, like, the financial crisis and the recession. Because in, like, 2008, you could go to college, and then for, like, an English credit, the class would be about Dark Knight. Like, you could fully get a bachelor's degree in Zack Snyder movies. Because you were willing to pay this for-profit college.
That's Christopher Nolan.
I'm using that as like a catch-all for things you can do.
Yeah,
in the bedlam of pre-financial crisis.
Yeah, I was watching Jimmy Carr. Is that the...
He's an English comedian?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was watching him on Diary of a CEO.
Mm.
And he had mentioned how when he was younger, universities were free, but you had to have really high scores to get in.
Yeah.
And one of the things our society is suffering from is that.
Yeah.
Like, why can I buy to get a degree that doesn't do anything? Right. It doesn't prove my competency in basically anything.
An idiot's ability to purchase a fucking diploma.
You're just... I mean, like, so on the other hand of that, I think an important part of academia is just exposing people to an environment of like-minded individuals to expand their horizons on what it means
or
to
different
do whatever you're doing.
Even.
Yeah, and that's why you shouldn't. That's why what the fuck? Not electives. General ed is so important. Like the shit that you're doing, like you know, I'm a fucking comm major, but I love science classes. You know, I should take science classes so that I know how science fucking works.
Mm.
You know, a lot of people just want to do like hyper targeted shit. Like you're not supposed to go get training. You're supposed to get an education. You know, there's a difference.
I mean, I feel this very deeply in my heart, is a fucking tweet somebody did, which sounds very lame that I hold a tweet in my heart, but we're in the future now and everything's lame. But he put that, like, if college was free, he'd just be going, like, for the rest of his life, just getting all the degrees, so, like, filling out all the jobs in Final Fantasy. Just getting max level and everything.
Yeah. I can see that. Some people just like... I mean, I like being a student. It was fun.
Yeah. Learning is fun. It's one of the things that the human brain is built for. It's one of our pleasure, indicators. It's good.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons that we have things like people who actually dissect writing, because, like, it's not only appreciating the thing at the time, but you're able to, like, identify the parts of it are good, why they're good, and it's like you're learning through experience of these things and post these things by just having this knowledge.
And because, you know, as, you know, a young country, like, Americans don't really have a mythos or a folklore, so we had to make our own. So, like, we use movies and stories to transmit our mythos as Americans across this broad spectrum and broad viewpoints and personalities that reach literally the entire fucking planet sometimes. And the power and magnitude of that, of like what ideas and imagery gets translated. Like I was talking to Curtis. Like, what does green mean? Right? What does green mean? Green means a lot of things now. It used to not mean anything, but it means a lot of things now. Van Gogh helped do that. Like a lot of artists help do that. Like that, the idea of green being a symbol for like life, fertility. In Japan, I think they use it for shonen energy.
Yeah, that's one of the big things.
Yeah, life and what's youth? Life.
It's youthful, like, vigor.
Yeah.
And
so what does green mean? Well, green is life. Green has always been life. Look outside, motherfucker. It's all nature. Like, that's life. Of course that's what our fucking brain thinks of one of the things
Don't
green.
eat my
That's
shoes.
literally what's outside. That's life. So, like, of course, you know, when our monkey brains see that shit, we're going to associate it after, like, millions of years being around green and seeing plant green. That's one of the only things you see outside that screen. Plant life. Boom.
it's everywhere.
So
I had to pick up this rabbit because it was eating my
another
shoes.
good one. Another one I really like is purple. Purple is the color of evil. Not necessarily because purple is evil, but like in lore, media, and mythos and shit, one of the most unnatural colors in the existence is purple. Purple technically doesn't exist. Purple is your brain playing tricks on you.
Yeah.
Like, purple is your brain not registering what the fuck that is. So, it's interesting, that, like, when you see in, purple's, like, the power of corruption, typically. So, like, you'll see,
The color out of space was purple.
yeah, the color of space was purple, trying to think of, like, other really good examples, like, purple being, like, entropy and, like, decay and shit. I'm drawing up blanks right now. But yeah, you see it a lot in mythos and stuff, and, like, video games, where purple's, like, the evil corruption color. Because it's just so unnatural. It doesn't, like, besides flowers, it's not really anywhere else.
Yeah.
And once again, it's only in flowers because our brain is looking at green wrong.
Yeah.
It doesn't understand that's green. Another crazy concept of that, when I was younger, I always thought, man, tigers don't make any sense. If you're orange and black, how the fuck are you going to hide in the woods? Well, prey animals can't detect orange, they see green. So they're green and black in a forest. That's fucking perfect camouflage. Of course they're great hunters. But my dumb little kid brain didn't fucking know that.
Yeah.
So,
It's only after, like, we see it, like, photoshopped into what the prey animals do see.
Yeah.
And then it becomes obvious, like, why that exists.
And having Amadeus is really, like, informed my perspective about prey animals and how their existence is just so different from predators, man.
He is a good bunny.
He is such a good boy, though. Look at him. He's so fat and dumb. Well, he's not dumb. He's really smart.
He keeps eating shoes.
He's just not... He doesn't have depth perception, or he likes to chew things.
Yeah. He's just a little guy.
The amount of treats that just fly by his head and he just doesn't know what happened. It's like through his eye and he just didn't see it happen.
Yep. That's...
Yeah, all he does is lick, though. He doesn't...
Yeah,
he can't help himself.
He can't stop.
Yeah, you know, I don't know what that's about either. Is it trauma or
Maybe grooming behavior?
Yeah.
I don't know. I won't get into the psychology of the rabbit. We're too different, he and I. I, with my high-minded opinions of Pirates of the Caribbean, and he, with his deep-seated belief in the need to tear up pieces of straw.
But I would teach Gundam because I think, one, it's an important way to teach World War II without teaching World War II. Mm-hmm. And it's an important lens to explain what happened to post-World War I Germany, and how when you put your heel on a people's throat for long enough, they'll do anything to get that off. Anything to get that off. Anything to get that off. Even drop a whole goddamn city on your city. Obviously, the colonies being a metaphor for the nuke.
Yeah.
A more obvious metaphor there is not.
And much like the real nuclear warheads, it works every time.
And I think...
in bad ways. No one wins.
And like you see a lot these days, you know, with folks, like, being mad about what's being taught in schools and, like, how we're portraying history and blah, blah, blah. So, like, to me, the most obvious, like, solution for that is, okay, well, don't teach real history. Teach fictional events based off of real history, like Animal Farm. Animal Farm is such a
through allegory, yeah.
Animal Farm is literally the Communist Revolution, and it explains exactly why we shouldn't do that. And, like, When I read Animal Farm as a kid, I understood the comics were the enemy. I understood instantly. Well, not that simplistically, but the idea that like what happened in Russia.
This system leads to this. Obviously.
Yeah, obviously that was going to fucking happen. The pigs became people, and they're the same goddamn thing. Duh. And it's okay, yeah. So we gotta keep an eye on these fuckers. You know, so anytime you do that in a book where you can like explain the Communist Revolution without ever talking about the Communist Revolution,
right?
That's awesome.
You can commit fully to the allegory while still teaching the.
And Gundam misses a lot of the points of World War II, but it highlights the slippery slope into fascism and how ideological warfare is the future of warfare. Conflict is eternal.
Right.
Like, we're always going to be fighting about something. It's just a matter of what we're fighting about and why we're fighting about it.
It used to be easy to trick a bunch of cavemen to fight each other. They just needed to not have enough food, and that other group was made of food.
One of the oldest words for warfare is the need for more cows.
Yeah.
And, like, when I learned that like, whatever fucking old-ass language, proto-language, that, like, one of the oldest words for war was, like, oh, we're out of food, we need more cows. Well, we got to get those guys and take their cows. That's just how it goes, man. You can't even be mad about that shit. So
there was a thing that I read the other day that I thought was funny. It's how the Arctic, as we call it, actually comes from like a phrase which meant the place with no bears, which leads to Antarctica, which is named as
polar bears,
the opposite of where there are no bears. Ironically, there's no bears down there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, then why the name of that?
Yeah.
Huh. Couldn't see him. Blending with the snow too well.
Is that like Lemuria?
I might have this backwards, but like I believe that to be the one of the phrasings of like the Arctic and Antarctic.
Yeah, I'll look it up later.
It doesn't matter. We don't need to fucking fact check shit.
Yeah. Part of being a wizard is being wrong sometimes.
Yeah.
Being wise doesn't mean you're correct.
Yeah.
Once again, leave in the comment if we're dumb. Just fucking explain to me why I'm dumb. No, I like it. Fucking... what else would I fucking teach? Another reason I like Gundam is, like, it... So, I would want to teach the movies and not the show, because the show just has a bunch of shit you don't need to talk about. It's just yada yada. Mm-hmm. But the movie really does, like...
cut down on the fat.
Yeah, and it's also a great 3-act... You know, like they do...
It more clearly represents each part, yeah.
Yeah, it really gets to the point. I mean, I'm drawing blanks right now. I'm kind of tired, but like I could fucking hero's journey shit. I don't think it actually follows the hero's journey, but like it does follow very good storytelling structure.
So that also reminds me of where another thing I was going to talk about with Pirates of the Caribbean is every Pirates of the Caribbean film is a necessary sequel. So
yes.
So there's a concept in writing which is necessary and unnecessary, and then you can apply that to everything. There's necessary and unnecessary aesthetic choices. There's necessary and it's just a concept.
Yes, I agree with that completely.
So,
and sorry not to interrupt. That concept is also extremely robust because of Madoka Magica and how they have violated that to success.
Yes, absolutely.
Which is like crazy, yeah.
So in terms of like necessary sequels, in just a standalone work, every piece of plot should be necessary for the further of the plot. Like something leads to something leads to something, and it has to lead there, and then it must conclude there. Now, at every point in your story, this should be escalating in order to like heighten tension and everything. But like at the end of the story, tension's supposed to drop because like it has essentially gone through its entire life cycle and told a whole story. However, when you have a necessary sequel element, what you have then is, well, what if those things continued to escalate? So rather than like escalating and then fully dropping off and then the next movie is about something completely different, it's not about something completely different. It's about the thematic continuation of the struggle from the first movie. No longer is it some ghost pirates exist and are bad and are at conflict. It's that the concept of like our like pirate afterlife and ghosts is now like a physical character that must be dealt with. The sea isn't dangerous for pirates solely because like, oh, they're a rapscallion bunch and there are some Navy guys. There are Navy guys in newer ships that are just like technologically better, who have like vast resources that no pirate can contend with. And there's a fucking Kraken out there because the nature of the sea itself is able to be turned against them. And then in the third movie, it gets even further, where the sea itself, the goddess of the sea, is turned against them. And this character, Davy Jones, who was previously allegorically equivalent to a grim reaper with like a horde of demons at his disposal, has become just as desperate a character as these individual human pirates, because he realizes that his heart is in the hands of the Navy, who have continued to escalate as a threat, filling out all the parts of the map so that pirates have nowhere to hide. Pirates have never been weaker or in a higher stakes situation, and all the pirates in the world get together under a pirate king that they've never done, and they have this fucking boat fight in a fucking whirlpool, and they're locking the boats together.
Yeah, what a good movie, dude.
These three movies are spectacular, in my opinion, and they are also perfect representations of how stories must move. They must escalate within themselves, and then without themselves in the meta story, they must continue to escalate until the end. So those three movies had to be those three movies, had to escalate how they did, had to end. And then when they made two more, and I don't like to talk about those.
Yeah. Which is why trilogies.
Yeah.
Which is, once again, why I want to teach Gundam movies, because they turn into a trilogy. It's literally, okay, we start off Space War, it's fucked. We gotta get the Gundam out of here with White Base. We're all a bunch of kids in this fucking thing. Let's try, fam. And then they fuck off to Jaburo, and they get to Jaburo, and it's still fucked. Because the first movie's about them getting to Earth, basically, right? And then the second movie's about them being on Earth, getting to Jaburo. And then from there, it's with them fucking off back into space to end the war. And, like, it really, like... Yeah, I'm drawing blanks here. Sorry, guys. But, yeah, it's a very good trilogy. And, like... Yeah, you can really break down a lot of, like, themes there, especially, like, Shard the Red Comet. Like, yeah. So, I remember, I think it was Katsucon or AUSA when I was younger. Me and my brother went with our sister, because she was basically, like, you know, she's my older sister, so she was one of the trendsetters for anime and stuff in this area. So, like, when we were in, like, you know, second grade and shit, she was, like, watching Dragon Ball GT, you know, and, like, so... She
already knew how Dragon Ball Z ended on Toonami. She was the coolest.
Yeah, she was torrenting shit, and yeah, she was the coolest. She was like Pirate Underground, like Rebel. Well, I was like, man, my sister's the fucking coolest. Anyway.
And she was.
The patron saint of Space Ghetto, enlightening the ignorant masses. Anyway,
She gave us brain rot.
Fuck, bro.
But we love her for it.
I love you, sis. If you're listening, I love you, sis.
Best.
The goat. But yeah, Shard Aznavour, one of the guys that will actually originally worked on Gundam was there at a panel, and the panel was cell shading. Basically, I got a dom, I got a cell of a dom, and the mobile suit, not a fucking anyway. And we got to paint the cells, and like, you do it in reverse order, so you do like the front layer first, and you go backwards, blah blah blah. And he's just talking about shit while we're doing that, and just answering questions. It was such a cute little cool panel. And one of the things he said was like, he ripped on Gundam Wing, and I clung to that. I clung to that religiously. So what he said was like, you know, I don't really like how anime is getting really pretty boy these days. And this is like 2005.
He had no idea how bad things
yeah, so he had no idea where it was going, man. The femboy aesthetic was only getting stronger. But yeah, he was like, okay, so he was at a panel somewhere, and you're like, okay, so you're one of the Gundam guys? He's like, yeah, can you draw Duo Maxwell? And he's like, okay, who's Duo Maxwell? And he pointed to a girl cosplaying as Duo, because Duo has the long hair and the braid.
Yeah.
Chicks love cosplaying as Duo.
Yeah.
Gender bent Duo, easy fucking money. Character basically was designed for that. So, yeah, the guy's like, that's Duo Maxwell. So the guy's like, okay, yeah, I can draw Duo Maxwell. So, like, he, like, draws a girl Duo Maxwell, but it's, like, you know, petite, so it looks like Duo Maxwell.
Yeah.
So the guy's like, oh, thanks. He's like, okay, cool, so that's Duo Maxwell. And so he's just sketching in his own free time, and he's drawing Duo making out with Hero. And
what are you doing?
And one of his friends is like, huh, I didn't know you liked yaoi. And he's like, what? And he's like, Duo's a guy. And he's like, oh, shit, dude. And I thought that was fucking hilarious, dude. And like,
goddamn.
Even my sister said Gundam Wing is Gundam for girls, which is like, it's pretty fucking sexist, but like, her words, not mine, man. But like,
she didn't do the voices like we did. So we rewatched Gundam Wing as adults so that we could really dig into its thematic components. Not really, we just sort of wanted to watch it. But anyway, every time certain characters came on, we would do voices for them, including Barack Obama and Donald Trump and Bill Clinton and others.
Obama being Trey's is one of the funniest goddamn fucking things he's ever done, dude.
I knew you would come. I believe in the tall geese too. Yeah, that was fun.
Fuck, bro. I can't.
I knew you'd come, Woofat.
Over my head. Haven't seen it.
Fuck, bro. Ah, fuck. Okay. And then, two, the other thing he told us at the panel, Char was supposed to be the main character.
Yeah.
So it was supposed to happen, and like, I don't know when they planned to do this, because Gundam didn't end properly. Like, they got time to end it gracefully, but they got canceled prematurely.
Yeah.
And
they got canceled twice.
Yeah, we'll talk about the thing with the waifus.
Yeah.
That's one of the coolest things I've ever heard anyway. So, but yeah, Char is supposed to be the fucking main character. So part of the bleakness of Gundam and the kind of the message they were trying to convey of like the horrors of war, Amuro was supposed to get shot down at some point. Like really like abruptly and brutally. And
because that's what happens.
Because that's what fucking happens. And he's a child, so it's double fucked. And then Char was supposed to be about Char again and his revenge quest being fucking Daikun Zeon.
Yeah.
And it stopped that we don't want you to kill a kid on fucking television. That's fucked, man.
This is the 80s. We can't be doing that yet.
And then the guy went on to make Ideon, so like you can only tell how fucking dark you wanted to make that shit.
Oh, yeah.
So like, they like, Char ended up not being the main character, but like they poured so much love and time into the Red Comet, and that's why he's such this robust, like well-rounded character, and just charming in general.
He's so memorable. I mean, like fucking people who don't know anything about Gundam, understand who Char is pretty well.
And like, the Red Comet is a great title.
Fantastic.
The red theme, red being fast, which once again, that's a color choice that like they helped kind of force. Like there was a few colors that have nebulous meanings, right?
Yeah.
So like a lot of people think red is aggression, red is not aggression, red is like passion, orange is aggression. In fact, statistically speaking, if you drive an orange car, you're more likely to get hit. Like that's something they taught us in insurance. Is like if you drive an orange car, your rates go up because you are sparking aggression in people's mind looking at you.
Yeah.
You are asking if you drive like a jackass, you are asking someone to hit you.
I mean, that's why we make like construction stuff like
orange. It's the caution, aggression, the color is supposed to have you go That's why frogs and shit are that vibrant ass orange.
Yeah, because
so that when you
I'm
see
poisonous, idiot. Stop eating me.
When you see that, you think so. Except there's fucking oranges. You actually eat an orange, but whatever.
That's complicated.
There's other shit involved there, man.
Anyway, what was I saying? You were saying.
Yeah, thematic, Red Comet.
Yes.
Yeah, and then
they really helped solidify red as the color of like the fast character.
Yeah, that being like a dynamic, and then memorable lines of like it's not the mobile suit, it's the pilot, which like you can translate that to literally anything in life, man.
Yeah.
You are not your idiot Ford. You're not your shit pants, whatever the fuck he says in Fight Club. You're not your shit suit. What does he say? You're not your shit suit? Whatever the fuck, yeah.
Yeah, you aren't your suit, you aren't...
Yeah. You aren't the things you're wearing, you are you. Like, so it doesn't matter what you have or what equipment you have. If you can't fucking use it, you're a jackass, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen people do a lot with a little and a little with a lot, And being good involves doing the latter. Or doing a lot with a little, rather, the former.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Gundam definitely teaches that. What other fucking cool themes are on Gundam? the idea of like transcendent humanity. So like two themes that are prevalent about every single Gundam series. Like every single Gundam series,
it's in the DNA. You don't make if you make Gundam without this, everyone will say that's not Gundam.
Yeah, exactly. And that is conflict is eternal, and the transcendence of humanity. And one of the cool things about non-UC Gundams that I give a credence for is that non-UC Gundams change the transcendence of humanity and what that means.
Right, it can be a different interpretation.
Iron-Blooded Orphans is one of the coolest ones because it's about debasing yourself as a human to be able to transcend humanity to become a more effective soldier. And the idea that, like, the implant is more effective and stable the younger you are, literally, like, it's better to have child soldiers. You are incentivized to have child soldiers. And that, when you think about it, that's kind of how life used to fucking be. We had a warrior class. You were literally trained from birth to go fuck people up.
Yeah.
There's only a few of you, though. And
I mean, Alexander the Great started, like, fucking being known for killing people when he was, like, 12.
Yeah, like, knights and shit, you were literally groomed from birth to go fucking run a man through at some point, man. That was your job. So, like, it's just kind of a throwback to, like, a really...
more barbaric time.
A more barbaric time, where, like, war was not only, like, a given, but, like, damn near encouraged. Yeah, so, like, you know, that's a fun one, or, like, an interesting angle for Transcendence of Humanity. And then, like, I didn't watch 00, because I just, once again, Pretty Boy Gundam, I just not... It's not that I don't like it, I just don't care. I put UC on such a fucking pedestal that, like, I'll watch all of UC in order again. But I just don't have the need to watch the other ones. Eventually I'll get to it. It's on my list. But
Right.
I watched Seed. I watched all of Seed, and I didn't like it. It's not that I didn't like it. They tried to redo the original Gundam, and they missed a lot of the points. The fact that Kira stops, like, shooting people down, like, he stops killing people, really trivializes, like, one of the themes of Gundam, that war is horrible.
Right.
And they
there
really
is no one that
You
good.
can't
That's,
sanitize
like, necessary.
Gundam. Yeah, you can't sanitize Gundam.
Yeah.
You can't sanitize Gundam, and doing so is kind of gross. Like, I don't know. But I see why people like Seed. The mechs were fucking cool, and it was pretty. A lot of tits and ass, too. One of those, the most gratuitous panty shot in all of Gundam is in Gundam Seed Destiny with Luminaria. At one point, they're in the hangar or something, and she's looking up to, like, Shin or Athrun, I don't know, whatever her fucking love interest was at the time. And she's looking up to him going into the Gundam, and it, like, does an upskirt of her pink panties for no goddamn reason, other than to just do it, snaps on it for, like, 5 whole seconds of, like, yeah. And I don't think I've seen anything like that, of that equivalent in Gundam series, ever before or after. And I guess, as someone who, like, typically doesn't enjoy fan service that much, and, like, I think one of the biggest things that hurts the mech genre is the amount of fucking fan service. Yeah, it just kind of threw me through a loop. I was like, okay, well, this only solidifies how much of Gundam you're not, or why I don't like you as Gundam. I haven't seen Witcher Mercury yet. I gotta watch that. Apparently, Nick said it was really good. Yeah, Nick said it was good, and I still haven't finished Victory because I haven't been able to find a good translation. Like, the one that I found was, like, just not English. It was just some guy tried. Some fan guy probably in Japan was trying to, you know, figure out how English worked and gave the old college try, and I couldn't understand it.
So the other day,
I was Babby born.
I was looking for one of the DC animated movies for free because I'm poor, as I said. And I was looking it up, and I was specifically looking up because I wanted English subtitles. I need subtitles when I watch things so that I can actually understand all of it. And because I did that, all that was coming up was, I presume, the same rip. But it was a rip of, I think the characters were speaking, like, Thai or something.
Damn.
Because it was not any of the Asian languages that I'm used to hearing in my various cartoons. But the thing is, the English subtitles, you would think by English subtitles it means translated to the English language and then put as such at the bottom. Oh, no. By English subtitles, what this meant was somebody who I presume did not speak Thai, listened to this and wrote it down how an English person would say those letters. I thought I was losing my mind when I was watching that.
Are they fucking with you?
Because there's no way that they spell that word the way that I would spell that word. That can't be the case. First of all, they have their own language system, so if it was for them, it would be in their language. It's bananas. I have no idea who that's for, but you can find it.
Well, what a translation that. Yeah. So that's a thing. That's why I haven't watched Victory fucking Gundam. So that's the only UC Gundam I haven't seen at this point. I recently went through and watched Zeta and Double Zeta were so impactful for me. The Cubelay is my favorite Gundam or favorite mobile suit. I keep calling them Gundams.
I thought the Cubelay was in the first Gundam series.
Cubelay was not developed until Axis.
Oh.
Yeah, Cubelay was developed from the DOM. So it wasn't.
I feel like I feel like I'm remembering it and the Sazabi together, but that's almost certainly generated from my liking Sazabi.
Sazabi came after. So basically,
Sazabi wasn't in the original?
No. Wait, Universal Central, the original Gundam series.
Yeah.
So Sazabi is from Char's Counterattack.
My memory.
The Gelgoog. So basically, there's Char has the Zaku 2.
Right.
And then he has the water one. Xenon. Not Xenon. Xenon's the last one. Not my fucking. Zagok, the Gog. It's either, I think it's Gog or Zagok. One of the two. It doesn't matter.
Right.
So he has the amphibious. The amphibious, not subterranean. The amphibious one.
Yeah.
For Jaburo. And then they fight, and then, shit happens. They fuck off into space, and then he gets the fucking Gelgoog. And the Gelgoog is mass-produced to replace the Zaku 2.
Yeah.
And if they had actually done that properly, Xian would have fucking won a Baoku. But, Cassilia did what she did, and they basically banked on having a bunch of novice pilots. Literally, going back to why Gundam is so beautiful, this is shit off the screen, people, by the way. None of this is said on the screen. You have to actually, look into the deep cut shit to know this. But one of the beautiful fucking symbolistic things about Gundam is that one of his first fucking lines is that it's not the fucking mobile suit, it's the pilot. And why does Xeon lose a Baoku? They place overconfidence in the Gelgoog's ability to outclass the Gundam Federation's numbers with a bunch of rookie pilots, and they break. They break the second Giranzabi dies. And they lose.
And it's literally...
And it's the exact opposite.
It wasn't the suits that lost, it was the men that lost.
It was the men. Yeah. The exact thing that Char said, you aren't your shit fucking mobile suit, it's the pilot. Well, yeah, they placed overconfidence in the Gelgoog.
Yeah.
They thought it was going to be their... And by the way, it would have been if they had the leadership behind it. But
they put the black tri-stars in Gelgoogs?
Yeah, you give me some black...
War's over.
Yeah, you give the war's over, motherfucker. But, they ran out of those guys. They Gundam killed them all. That's also part of the...
They kept throwing them at this child with a bloodlust.
And that's also...
He took care of them.
Another thing, going back to, a World War II allegory, is that, that's one of the things that happened to the German forces. Once their, actual shock troopers, their elite units, got fucking wiped out through attrition and trying to fucking fight Russia when they shouldn't have fought Russia that one time. Or at that time, rather, fucking winter. Once you start bringing in rookie soldiers, when you're fighting rookie soldiers, your superior shit isn't really superior anymore, is it? You know? Once your elite dudes run out, it's
pearls before swine at that point.
The tip of the spear is blunted. Oh shit! That happens in almost every fucking war.
Meth will only carry you so far.
Yep.
Meth will only carry you so far, and which is one of the things. That's why their spear wasn't blunted for so long. Is meth. And god damn did it work. Fucking props to you, man.
Don't they need to sleep? No.
Well, and the other part, not only do you not need to sleep, the second I shoot you 4 times and you're still standing, I'm running, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, they're the Ubermenschen, dude. Clearly they're better than us. They can take 5 bullets. How the fuck is that?
Yeah. That's where
I can do that too.
So, one of the things that I say now is that. So Tony already touched on this, that we're ratifying our current mythology with movies.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I say now is that we have modern mythological roles that we've decided are as eternal as any like mythos. And one of them is the idea of the super soldier, which is it was just guys on meth, but now it's been ratified as like actual mythology in like the modern human like society that like we don't even have to say any more than the words super soldier to describe a character.
Yep.
Captain America, his power, he's a super soldier.
And it's crazy because, meth will turn you into a super soldier at a cost. Once you run out, man, that's...
Yeah.
It's a strike to morale, for sure.
And then goes the teeth.
And the skin.
And everything else.
And a whole bunch in the muscle mass.
Yep.
And the bones.
And you'll be real tired.
Yeah.
Real tired.
The tired that sleep won't cure.
Fuck, brother. It didn't go for him well. But yeah, so fucking Gundam teaches that. It teaches, like, once again, you gotta be paying attention for it, you gotta look for it, and it has to be framed in the right way. But, like, yeah, you aren't your shit mobile suit, man. Like, once it comes to be about numbers versus numbers, anything can fucking happen.
What are we looking at on time?
So I got another hour. 50 minutes for this one.
Gotcha.
I mean, it's like 11:30, I don't know. It usually go to midnight.
I meant what time? Like,
oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
11:30. Okay.
Yeah, 11:38. Yeah. Yeah.
Another easy one you could easily do a class off this, Avatar. Last Airbender.
Oh, yeah. That's low-hanging fruit. It's also a kid's show.
Yeah, that felt obvious to me because it seems like if you watch that show, you'll just learn those lessons. So
yeah.
I hardly need to teach the class.
And another reason I would say that, and it's funny because it doesn't come up to the third arc, they do some almost breaking the fourth wall where Sokka literally says, I haven't gone through a character arc, and that's kind of horseshit. I'm going to go get a sword. And then he does that for an episode.
Yeah.
Which, like, when I first saw that, I was like, are you making fun of me? But then I was like, you know what? No. They played it off well. Sokka is the comic relief. He would do some shit like that.
It also...
I love this.
Exactly. It's unexpected, but it's not surprising for Sokka to do that.
Precisely. It was so unexpected. I was perturbed, but then I thought, go on.
Under examination, it makes sense. Even like as like if Sokka were a real human being and he actually said the phrase like I feel like I haven't gone through a character arc, it would still be like that's such a Sokka thing to say.
Yeah, he's like I don't feel like your Aang's doing firebending. Katara can do. I forget what her upgrade, like the bloodbending maybe it was. She got some sort of power.
I think she got better at healing.
She's just making him a stronger waterbender.
Yeah, she's a master at this point.
And then he had his fucking boomerang and moxie, you know. So he's like, all right, I want to level up too. So then he literally goes and levels up, and I was like, that's cool, good for him, man. Everyone got their little arc. They're ready to go fucking take on the guy. They're doing it.
This is a thing that I brought up to Curtis and Kelly, but it's also a reason why Avatar, a reason why Pirates of the Caribbean, even Gundam, why these things also work so well is that all the characters are so not developed, they're just strong existences that you can easily like understand. Because like one thing we were talking about is Frozen is a beloved movie that I believe is bad. Because
my God, because
there's a character in it who, if anyone is with that character, the only way for storyline, for conflict to happen, is for it to happen to them from the outside. I'm of the belief that when you are writing any of your characters who are actually like characters, not like background guy, if you took any two of them and put them in a room together, conflict and story would flow out of them. And that should be for your entire cast. And it's true for Avatar, it's true for Gundam, it's true for Pirates of the Caribbean. These are, like, every character is so themselves that anyone you put into a room can fuel, like, say, an episode or a storyline. Even, like, the friggin' cabbage merchant in Avatar by the end, by sheer accident of, like, being a bit, is, like, fully a character we can understand. And we could tell you more about that character, like, just by watching it, than they ever gave us on the screen. And it's just these strong introductions and honestly consistent, like, unexpected but unsurprising behavior.
It sticks on theme while also subverting its own genre. Like,
exactly.
Anytime you can, like, I don't gas this one up anymore as much, but Shield Hero originally piqued my interest because I feel as though the anime market is flooded with fucking isekai. But it's a pretty cool genre. People like it. It's fine.
It's interesting.
I understand why it's flooded. I just wish there was higher quality.
Right.
Because it's flooded, there's so much trash, it's just fucking rising to the top, you know? But one of the reasons I like Shield Hero is how many fucking tropes it completely fucking subverts. Because it's a harem anime, but it's not a harem anime.
Yeah.
Like, so much so that, like, a few people I remember who didn't like Shield Hero, when I made that pitch to them, their first knee-jerk reaction is not a harem anime. And I'm like, well, he's acquiring an army of daughters, but, like, yeah, but that's technically a harem.
Yeah, it's told with the exact same like story beats of harem.
Yeah, it's doing the harem anime thing, but it's not sexualized. There is army of daughters.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, some of the shit they say is fucking problematic, but whatever, man. Fucking
it's Japan.
Japan's
they
weird,
have a whole
man.
other thing going on.
Yeah, Japan's weird. Don't worry about it, man. Like, just fucking roll with it. But yeah, it's a Shield Hero. I like that they subvert that fucking genre. And then the fact that he has a shield also subverts the genre. Like, typically the hero has a sword, not a shield.
Yeah.
That's the first time I heard about that. So, I mean, it's like Captain America, you know, duh, but like...
Well, Captain America also...
It's like an American thing, so...
Well, also, specifically, the interpretation of what the shield hero is like, he isn't Captain America. He can't beat you down with his shield. Mm-hmm. That's, like, part of the rules of it. Mm-hmm. So even within that idea of like, well, there's other heroes who use a shield, he's still different.
Precisely. Like when you examine any further beyond the original tertiary like lens, it becomes more robust than that. And once again, Shield Hero, fucking.
I think Shield Hero at its core is a very fun idea that like has interest. It's very interesting. Yeah.
I fell off like when they got to the turtle. I just stopped caring.
Yeah.
But
I haven't caught up on that in a long time, so...
I mean, like, if they fucking update the anime, maybe I'll watch it again. I don't know. I think I did, and I didn't watch it, so never mind.
Season 3, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say, I haven't seen Season 2.
I stopped watching.
I stopped caring, yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's fine. I just... Originally, it piqued my interest, because it's subverted the genre, and then it just stopped really mattering.
A different thing that I just have opinions on is that I read a lot of things that are bad... especially manga, because I'm a fucking dork, microphone people. And I read them, even though they're bad, because I feel like there's like an inherent value in things that are just interesting.
Yes.
Like, there's no need for it to be good. This can be interesting.
And it's not like these authors have no good ideas.
Yeah.
And like...
in every single one, I'll find at least one thing that I'm like, I like that.
I remember hearing a story that, like, the guy from Led Zeppelin who writes the songs, I don't fucking know all the fucking artist names.
Who cares? It's boomer shit.
Yeah, precisely, right? So I heard a story, I don't know if it's fucking true, but apparently, they went to some, like, venue or whatever, and there was, like, some, like, you know, old podunk guy playing his fucking songs or whatever. And, like, the last one they heard really stuck with the guy, and they used that for the intro to Black Dog. And it's like... So they just went to this show that might have just stunk or whatever. Like, they're Led Zeppelin. Like, what the fuck are they sticking around? You know, but they're probably still young in their careers, but still, right? Like, you know, just hanging out around. And then at the ass end of, like, a mediocre, like you said, not spectacular, basically garbage, but, you know, we're here for it. It's entertaining. Right. It's entertaining. It's interesting.
Dude, going to live music's has nothing to do with whether or not the music's good.
Like, I'm not going to the gay bar because I want to suck dicks. I'm going to the gay bar because that's interesting as fuck. I've never been to a gay bar before. Let's see what's going on, man. Like, speaking of which, that's where I'm going, fucking, in a few weeks. When I go up to Michigan, I'm going to be going to fucking hang out, go and check out a gay bar called, I forgot what it's called, so... That'll be weird. Mystics. Very slutty name.
I would have never guessed Mystics.
Yeah, Mystics. Very good.
By the
good
way,
sign.
So in my head at all times, there's like a little ticker, like comes out of old-timey, like the stock tickers.
Yeah.
And it's just printing like jokes at all times when I hear things. So you're trying to remember the name of this thing, and I'm like, just printing gay bar names out of my head.
What did you come up with?
Oh, none of them were even like reasonable. It was like White Swallow, Suck Palace, like
okay, what else? Fuck, bro.
The Hole.
In that same vein, when you said mystics, at first I thought you said Miss Dicks.
Ah!
I was like, that's not. You didn't say that. You're
right, I did.
Miss Dix sounds
no
like
one
a...
would name their gay bar.
Miss Dix is my drag name now.
Oh, no.
Mystic Miss Dix.
Backpedaling a little bit
Write that down.
on some things.
Fuck.
Things that are bad.
Got canceled.
I was looking for something to watch.
Yes, sir.
So I was on Amazon. I was like, oh, Fallout was good. What else they got? I need to watch things that aren't anime. And I was just flipping through. And I scrolled through a lot of shit. And I was like, I almost put on The Expanse. Because like, I know that's supposed to be really good. But I was like, that's a commitment. I'm not ready for that.
I'd watch that again.
And then I was just flipping through. And they got a lot of East Asian shit on there now. Amazon original bullshit.
Yeah, they do.
And one of them...
I have to keep explaining to my parents like what like K-dramas and shit are, and they're like, so it's just like a regular show. I'm like, it's not a regular show.
It's live action anime, bro.
regular for them. Like,
Yeah.
But yeah, you nailed it right then there. So I'm flipping through and I see this little show called My Undead Yokai Girlfriend.
Oh yeah.
Huh.
Oh yeah, no, I know that one.
I've never watched one of these before. Let's throw it on and have a laugh. And at the end of the first episode, I'm like, God damn it, I like it. And
Yep. Goes down smooth.
Live action anime, man. They know the story beats.
Literally just live action anime.
Yes.
And I almost finished the entire season.
Mannerisms,
It's probably-
story structure, even
Considering I know that title, it's probably a live action of an actual manga.
It felt like it. I mean, yeah.
one thing that fucking blew my mind, and as a comm major and studying culture and shit, how evident in shit some of this stuff is, the little normatives that we don't do in the West, that East Asia specifically hones in on.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
almost ubiquitous, and a lot of it is the mannerisms of chicks over there. Because both of my Korean professors were just doing the shit you see Genki girls do in anime, just in their regular ass mannerisms. It wasn't anything they were fucking doing. And, I'm trying to not laugh some of the time.
Right.
Not, laugh, because I'm just more being there's no way that's real. That.
They're doing a bit right now.
Yeah, you're making fun of me right now. You're trying to make me
I get
say
it.
something. Yeah,
we're
I
in
get
Korean
it.
class, and you think we're all fucking dorks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck is even happening right now? But no, that's some mannerisms. Man.
So there's a thing that I heard that I personally perceive as probably the most scientific view one could have of this, which is that the thing that gets exaggerated and is what a medium is known for is the thing that it does that nothing else can do, but more than that, it's the thing that it does poorly. So the easiest example of this is people like lo-fi music, and lo-fi music is specifically the only place where you'll get low fidelity, that's the point of it. But it's the only place where you'll get that sound, because that sound is bad everywhere else.
Yeah, fair enough.
And if you're listening to a speed metal, and it has suddenly a part of it goes country music, you would be like, what the fuck? Because that's not what that's supposed to be. It's a different fucking medium. So when moved to video and specifically live action television, we can't do things that we can even do in non-live action television, hearing thoughts is not a thing that we do, because it's weird to just look at a live action man not speaking, just totally straight faced while we hear his thoughts. It's weird. Even in the movies where we do that, it's weird. Fight Club's weird. It's sort of a weird experience. But because of that, we have an entire type of personality that exists that talks with their hands and does the Genki girl thing, because what that medium cannot do is the thing that is exaggerated. It needs to tell you about who they are inside. We can't tell you who they are inside. We just have video. Okay, then they're going to do a lot of big motions, and they speak excitably. And that's when...
Yeah, pantomime.
Yeah.
Yeah, pantomime.
So in any medium, the thing that it can't do is what it becomes known for, because they do it in a weird, bad way.
And that even goes back to radio serials and shit, and why
Yeah.
emotive voicing is so important. And one of the things that only recently got drawn to my attention, I remember always wondering, like, why in old broadcast people's voices were all high-pitched and weird. And I always thought, well, clearly that's the microphone doing that to them.
Yeah.
No, in fact. So, you know how in the modern era we love the deep, buttery voices?
Yes.
Microphones couldn't pick that up back in the day. They couldn't pick it up at all. So if you didn't have a high-pitched nasally voice, you just wouldn't, some of the shit you say wouldn't get picked up. So that's why everyone fucking sounded like that.
So,
apparently.
Yeah, it makes sense. So when if you think about like low quality recordings of things, the parts that cut out are always the parts that are lowest.
Yeah.
So in like, I'm sure it's just become like we've gotten so good at it that it's no longer a thing.
Yeah.
But like,
yeah,
that's making a crazy amount of sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's same way. You know, people used to think dogs couldn't see TV. Well, no, they just couldn't see low frame rates. Now that the frame rates are higher, dogs can watch TV. And I'm pretty sure little dogs could watch TV earlier than larger dogs, because larger dogs typically can't pick up as many frames or whatever. Or there's a difference in their eyes, typically, the tones. So, like, at a certain point, there was a time around, like, 2006, 2007, where, like, little dogs started yelling at the TV, and people thought that was, like, there was, like, a whole conspiracy theory about it.
Yeah.
About,
they thought that it was changing the audio frequency. I remember that conspiracy theory.
Yeah, but it really was just your little dog is now looking at the dog on the TV.
You know what I bet it is?
Yeah.
I bet that their eyes are better because small dogs have to rely on their eyes more than the big dogs, because the big dogs literally have more real estate on their fucking head to dedicate to smell and hearing and taste. So they probably get so much more information from that. And these little dogs, there's simply not enough nose for them to smell that good.
Yeah, I'd buy that. Because the eyes are about the same no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't really get bigger eyes if you're a bigger dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've chosen that to be the case. I have spoken.
Also, you just look at a Chihuahua's bulging eyes.
Oh my god.
Halfway to prey animal.
Fucking Christ, dude.
I found out that when they get old, they like the muscles weaken, and sometimes their eyes can
pop out,
come almost all the way out, or even all the way out.
Mm-hmm. I remember seeing
he taken to the vet, and they're like,
when I was in Michigan, like one of Todd's buddies had two Chihuahuas named Chio and something else. And I remember Betty and Chio. One was half Dachshund and one was half Pomeranian. They were both Chihuahua mixes. Mm-hmm. And they were really fucking cute. But I think Chio was the one. Yeah, Chio was the one that was half Dachshund. And at one point, like in the later stages in life, I genuinely thought her eyes were gonna pop out of her fucking head, and I was worried.
They might.
I was worried all the time. It was one of those things where it's like you enter the room and like that's just constantly on your fucking. You can't calm down,
right?
Because you're so ready to watch the eye just pop out like a
yeah, and you're gonna be like,
oh yeah, well, yeah. I just needed to see it. I needed to be able to tell people, guys, look what I just fucking saw, because it looked like it was at any fucking second that thing was gonna fly out of there like it was dangling.
It fucking could.
Maybe I don't know. I don't remember it wrong, but like just fucking weird ass, bulgy ass Chihuahua eyes, all wet and just
I think it's them and pug dogs that it can happen to the old ones.
Pugs, I want to like pugs, but I only feel bad. You need to get some diversity in your genes, my man.
I'm of the opinion that pugs should only be like a type of like stuffed animal. We need to let that breed be bred back into dogs.
Because like if you look, even like I remember looking at a poster or something like a pug less than 100 years ago,
and they looked like regular dogs.
And their snout was like they had a snout. They had one.
Yeah.
Like at all. And now they can't breathe.
Like that. Ugh.
Like any creature that you've bred to where it can't fucking breathe, maybe that's no longer a desirable trait and it should be bred out of them.
You guys ever seen the pug skulls?
Yeah. They're terrifying.
Oh, they're bad? Oh, let's pull it up.
Google pug skull.
Oh, man.
That's all you need to see to be like, yeah, that ain't right.
We don't need this. Yeah. Pugs are real cute, and I think that things that are based off of pugs are really nice looking sometimes. Like Jake the dog, I think is sort of like a bulldog.
This is the
guy.
most body horror shit I have ever fucking seen. That's like an evil baby skull. That's like a demon baby skull.
Yeah.
I always tell people, if you think pugs are fine, Google pug skull.
Yep.
And your opinion should change.
It's funny how many times you can like drop one important piece of information,
Like the it's like a linchpin argument.
Yeah.
Of like, okay, well, look at its fucking skull, dude.
Yeah.
Look at how its fucking bones look. They look horrible. Nothing should.
God had no hand here.
Yeah. Only the hubris of man, bro. Fuck.
In our desire to step into his kingdom.
If someone doesn't know what a pug skull is, and you show them that out of context, they're gonna think you're showing them like a monster prop for like a movie or something.
Yeah, now I know how to like fuck with people. Dude, they're all horrible. They're getting worse somehow.
Yeah. You like
That's
how
a regular ass fucking wolf's.
do you like how inaccurate the cartoon drawing of it is? Because it's so disgusting that somebody even drawing it's like, well, I got to make it look like a regular skull.
Yeah. No, that has like proportions.
Yeah, this looks better than any of the actual fucking skulls.
Yeah, scroll up.
The anatomy is actually here.
Look at that, the one top left.
Which one?
The skull to the right. Right there.
Yeah?
That doesn't look anything like the real pug skull.
Yeah, that looks like an actual fucking skull. Look,
Because
boom.
even the artist was like, surely they can't look like that.
Surely they're not this grotesque. No, they are.
The
What?
hubris of man hasn't wrought another abomination through which we must experience
How much
dread.
does a fucking purebred pug even cost? Buy pug.
This pug's bloodline can be traced back to the emperors of China.
Or they were dogs.
He was a dog then too.
Fuck, bro. Let's see how much this shit fucking go for. I don't know.
I need to stop doing that. That's Toby.
Okay, some of these
God,
pugs
that's
look like
cute.
they're not as bad.
No, Tony, they look regular when they're babies.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because all dogs developed. Yeah. I forgot they're the same template. Fuck, bro.
Yeah.
Which is crazy that his head is just gonna fucking go concave.
I know.
His head is gonna recede into his fucking forehead. Poor little bastard. All these poor little
No,
bastards.
it's not that it recedes. It's that the only parts of it that grow envelop the parts of it that don't grow, like his snout.
That's so horrible.
I turned it off. I'm not looking at it anymore. Eat your cookie.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're fucking cookie.
It's literally out.
Someone ever tells you, oh my god, I love pugs, ruin their day.
Good.
I still
With a
love
pug
pugs,
skull.
but they
I still think they're cute. Like, I love dogs.
I think
Love
the
all
one that
dogs,
exists
but-
right now should be the last generation of pugs. They should every single one of from now on the closest that you get is half pug, and then further until this is a thing of the past.
They just gotta introduce something
commemorate
else.
them in our cartoons and children's backpacks, and that's it.
Yeah, it's like, I think a pug.
Oh
What?
my god,
Good cookie?
this is a good cook.
Hell yeah, Subway has good cookies.
Hi.
Hell
That
yeah.
helps a lot.
I just remembered that.
When I think of like a pug, I think of like Schadenfreude, you know? Like, I imagine like, when I think of someone like characterizing, going with the characters and like writing, my first thought of the kind of person to have a pug in writing is someone who enjoys watching something suffer. Like, that's all I think about when I see, like I said, the ones I saw in those pictures look like they could breathe, but like every pug I've seen couldn't fucking breathe.
Yeah.
And was just making noises trying to fucking
Not die,
respirate.
yeah.
Like, what should be considered the bare fucking minimum? Not even water or food. Air, motherfucker. Like, we'll worry about the other two after that.
The stuff you can't live without if you go longer than like a minute. Like
yeah, we'll worry about water and we'll worry about food once I can fucking breathe. Like, I can't fucking breathe. I ain't moving. The fuck you talking about? And this little shitlet sitting in a bed. Like, help him! Help him, please! And then literally they come in. Isn't he cute? Yeah, he's. I'm like having a fucking panic attack. Fuck, I hate that shit, dude. Like,
so our friend Rob, when we were playing D&D, he so much did not want to deal with a pug character that he vetoed a storyline in the campaign. One of the quests that they were offered to do was to go check out what could be like a new dungeon. It doesn't matter. It was a quest that was vetoed by Rob because the quest giver was, I think it's Orin Stoutcaster is the name that I gave him, but he's like a dog man, but he was a pug, and so he had like gnome size, and he was a gnome, but
he was a little pug.
He was a little pug. He was a pug man. He was a pug man wizard, and as soon as I revealed the pug nature of him, immediately Rob was like, "We're not doing that."
Yeah, vetoed. And unanimous consent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was smart of him because I would have really made a meal as the DM out of being like talking with the.
And I would have been furious.
Yeah.
So
I took the hint. He's not relevant anymore.
Yeah, not a. I don't like pugs. I don't want. Which is and I guess I'm a bit of a hypocrite because I think keep the corgis coming. I like my little dwarfism boys. Especially anytime they can, like, mix somebody else in there. I remember my favorite variant was the German Shepherd Corgi.
Oh, yeah.
So it was just a German Shepherd with a Corgi leg, so it just looked like he was trying really hard, but he just could never actually get there.
I love how you mix them, and it looks like you bought DLC skins for
That's
a
what
corgi.
that's what I'm saying, dude. It really looks like a DLC pack of, like, the same... It's a skin.
It's still a corgi,
template.
but it's
the same template, the same model. They just reskinned it with, like, German Shepherd
or Husky.
Yeah. And they're just different color palettes for the same damn thing, and I love it, dude. What a great little animal.
So, I don't know. Pugs, to me, are like, isn't that horrible? And then a corgi is like, isn't that funny? What we did to him? Like,
we trained him wrong as a joke.
Because pugs straight up can't breathe. Corgis just have a rough time being tiny.
Which is weird. Okay, so to my understanding, like, I need to do some fucking research on this, because, like, they're shepherds.
Yes.
And, like, I guess having the low center of gravity makes it easy to pivot and turn, is what I'm assuming.
Yes.
That's what gives them their advantage?
Yeah.
Because otherwise you'd want long-ass legs for speed.
Right.
Okay, so I'm not, because I'm really writing, okay, yeah, good.
Yeah.
Good. So but what I did in my book isn't incorrect, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
No, because their center of gravity is so low, they can put all of their weight immediately on their back legs, so they're able to just pivot real fast. And they just, like, shoot. They're like snakes where they just zip around.
That's what I thought, yeah, that's okay, yeah, because that, they can literally...
The only problem is that
around.
having hips for those legs on that long-ass body gives them hip dysplasia.
Oh, easy.
Their spine isn't
Most
very
shepherds
good.
just get hip dysplasia, because
Yeah.
shepherds have that. German shepherds have that, too.
Yep.
Shepherd breeds in general, yeah.
Actually, I'm pretty sure it's a thing where, like, most of, like, the dogs that are, like, pure breeds get hip dysplasia because we breed them to look a certain way without taking into, like, effect why do they look a certain way.
Yeah, true, because we're doing
So we
shows,
trained them wrong as a joke.
like, literally, like, generations of dog shows because we made dogs bad. Certain breeds. Well, not bad, but yeah.
It's given them a rough genetic lottery.
That's a lot more fair. There are no bad boys in Alien. Or bad dogs.
They're good.
Yeah, every dog is
They're
a good
good
dog
dogs.
until someone makes them a bad dog.
Yeah.
People do that shit.
Yeah. Fucking... I tell you guys that I am on video now saying shit in a mostly silent church.
Oh, yeah, dude, you gotta tell them the story. This is devastating, man.
So
A solid L for the ages.
Carter graduated kindergarten this past couple weeks, last week I think, and not last week before last, and I went to his graduation ceremony, which was weird because he goes to a private school, and so it was church. It was in a church, and I went, and I had in my heart and in my head, just don't be an embarrassment. That was my only job, a job that I failed, because I dressed up. I said hi to all the people. I was very nice, but when we were sat down, and then they brought out the kids to, like, populate the bleachers up front so that the kids could could put on the show that they've been practicing for the last, like, 2 months, which was telling us about all the things that they learned and what they can do now that they're going to the first grade. Isn't it cute? And one of the things that they said was that they learned the 7 continents, and they learned the oceans, and they learned how to count to 100. They learned how to count to 100 by ones, by fives, by ones, by twos, by fives, by tens, and by 20s. They can count to 100. He said, "Let's and let us show you. 1, 2." This is 20 children in unison counting. And at first, I start, you know, and then they're getting to 10, 11, and I'm just like fighting not to laugh. Because no way they're counting to fucking 100. That's hilarious. Why would you make them do that? And then they get up to the 20s, and I am like, just be quiet about the laughter. I'm like, And then the kids said, at 21, "You didn't think we'd really count to 100, did you?" And I lost it. Because now it was we were allowed to laugh. We're supposed to laugh at what the children are saying. So I lose it harder than is appropriate. And then, when everyone else calms down, I do the thing that I always do when I need to, like, lock back in, stop being a dumbass, and start listening, which is like, oh, shit.
In front of a fucking church.
At this point, the room was, I would say, rumblingly quiet. Not silent, but pretty much only populated by, like, did you hear that?
Fuck, bro.
And all of my family looks at me, and I just try to shrink my giant fat body down. And nope, I said shit, and everyone heard, and we were all recording on our phones because it's fucking 2024, and that's what you do. And so now there's video evidence of me doing this.
You remember when, like, one of, like, the signs of being middle class was having a camcorder to record your kids' stupid shit?
Yeah.
When they're fucking... I shouldn't say stupid shit, that's mean. But your kids' little fucking festivities and stuff,
yeah,
they're cute and wholesome, they matter, but yeah, it's funny, yeah, it used to be like a sign of status to have a camcorder to do that.
Yeah.
Like, now anyone has a goddamn phone, yeah.
I remember when I was real young, the family that used to live across from us, and then after we moved and they moved, that we still stayed family friends. I remember being young and going over to their new house. Yeah.
Nice.
Terry and Amy. And going over to their new house that they had built because it was very nice, but they had a pool in the backyard, and it was in ground, and also they had a special VCR just for the tapes that come out of the camcorder. And I was like, what? It's like a cassette thing that you put like a tape, like the edifice of a tape, over your fucking camcorder's tape, and then you can put it in the VCR. What? They just valmorphinized together into a regular tape?
Yeah, we love Voltron. Yeah, Voltron always good.
Oh yeah, Voltron's spectacular.
Anything that plugs into other things to make additional functionalities,
we call that Voltron.
Yeah, valmorphinizing, Voltroning.
Yeah, minicons sometimes.
Minicon are good. Yeah, call it a minicon.
Yeah.
Yeah. And any sort of external unit that attaches to the whole in a gestalt, always a fan of.
Yeah.
The sum should always be greater than the whole of its parts.
Synergy. I had nowhere else to go. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I love it.
What were we talking about?
I don't even fucking remember, man. I just took a hit, so I'm pretty toasty.
We're so good at podcasting.
Die. Just fucking smoke away. Shoot shit, man. Whatever, dude. Purchase ad space here. Fucking right. Anyway.
Oh, our ads go dirt cheap. If you want to do any kind of ad, if you hand me $1, I'll do it.
Yeah. God bless. I wonder what would even want to like, because I have it listed under comedy and I have it listed under I don't even fucking know. Is it meta to talk about your own podcast while you're podcasting?
Yeah, it's actually a pretty bad sign.
Yeah, it's not good. That's funny.
Oh, shit.
I mean, yeah, we're in like a 3-hour mark at this point, so.
What do you got going on over here?
I am purchasing corrugated plastic to build those stilts.
So I remember we were having trouble locating corrugated plastic before, and I only had the thought very recently, but you seem to already have it handled, that I don't know if corrugated plastic's the right thing that we were to look for, and I didn't know that because I couldn't tell you what corrugated meant.
It's like the way you pour it, right?
Because, I still don't know what it means.
Oh.
There's every chance in the world that corrugated, like, is a specific cut or shape that they press it into.
Yeah, it's a shape. So to my understanding, corrugated. Oh, let me look it up. I'm not gonna talk out of my ass because but Todd works in up in Michigan. He is helps run a factory that's plastic, so he knows a lot of shit about plastics. So I've heard him talk about plastics. So let me look up
corrugated plastic sounds like the thing to me, but
the rig in the groove. So basically, it's the system. So you know how cardboard is hollow?
Yeah,
it's because it's flat,
actually
flat,
like a ridged piece of paper.
Yeah, that's corrugated plastic. So the sheet is just ridged plastic to make a sheet. So it's not a flat, thick all the way through. It's like ridges, and then it's yeah. So that's why it's like a corrugated plastic sheet, and then you want
that clicking sound was me drawing in the air for this audio medium.
Yes. So with this, you want like a thin one. The guide recommends. To those not acquainted, in my quest to get sexy robot heels, which don't exist. I decided to make my own. So I found the guide on the Interbuts about how to make Gundam cosplay. And it involves making stilts to make the robot feet. And so we're currently working on a project to make some robot feet. And the guide recommends 30 millimeter thick corrugated plastic sheets, which is I can get 0.15 inch thick, which is about as thin.
Right, it's just in freedom units.
Yeah, precisely. So I'm thinking about getting these shipped over to Home Depot and then also getting a plastic cutter and picking those up for Friday. So I can start making my stilts.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm only going to get 2 sheets. I don't know how much I'm going to need or how much it's going to work with.
At this point, we're still in such an experimental phase of it that 2 sheets is probably a good place to start. Mm-hmm. Especially with the understanding that, not on purpose, but probably one of those sheets at the very least is just going to go straight in the garbage for this experimenting.
Yeah, I'm really trying to adopt a student mentality and a scientific mentality about this.
Sometimes science costs a lot of dead mice.
R&D, man, research and development. I don't expect to have good, sexy robot feet until Mark 6.
Right.
Genuinely. I feel like it's not going to be to what I actually want, what my fucking goal is.
Yeah.
Probably years down the line doing this shit, but I ain't gonna get there doing nothing. So we're gonna start with some clunky
Gets further away every day you don't do it.
Yeah, we're gonna start with some clunky ass clogs at MagFest, and we'll go from there.
Hell yeah.
It's funny.
I might go to MagFest this next time.
It's funny when I bought I got fucking Crocs, by the way, for my fucking stilts.
Yeah, we were talking about what shoe to actually put in the stilt.
I got sneaker Crocs though, so I made the compromise because people said there's no way Crocs.
What the fuck are sneaker Crocs?
Right? You didn't think they existed, and yet they do.
Snocks.
They're under somewhere, but yeah, they're
Creakers.
They're just sneakers made with the Croc material, man. And they're
just like foam sneakers.
Yeah, and they're super fucking comfy.
All right, well let's pull this up on the old Google box.
And because of how the guide says to make the stilt, you have to use the duct tape. You're supposed to fucking seal it with the duct tape. Because it's foam Crocs, that'll help adhere it to my foot more. So I'll have a more firm. As long as I do it right, I'll have a more firm grip on my foot than I would normally because it's foam. I can basically make it. No, mine's actually hollow. Let me see if I can actually find them. They should be around here. Oh, they're outside. They're on the shelf. Yeah, like that. Yeah, that's what I got. So, like, let me show you my concept. So you can actually look at her feet for reference.
This looks nice. Relative. Relative to looking nice for a Croc, you know. I'd buy that as a fancy future footwear.
They don't look as stupid as Crocs.
Yeah. They're more like a sized up Polly Pocket shoe. Right down to the material, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, those are even fancier than those ones.
These are, yeah, this is what I was showing him.
Yeah, so it was actually a nice experience. I went to the fucking Croc store in the mall. So originally I was trying to go.
Store?
Yeah.
How powerful are Crocs?
That's what I fucking thought.
Oh,
dude.
you guys are way behind on
Well,
this.
no, when I first saw that years ago, that's what I thought,
Yeah.
and then that's why I went there. I've surrendered. This is the future. This is the way. This is the move. These are the comfiest goddamn shoes. Otherwise, everyone wouldn't be wearing them. They're ugly as fuck.
Yeah.
These are fucking atrocious looking, but I'm not gonna be. No one's gonna have to see me wear these. They're gonna be sexy robot heels, but I'm gonna feel like I'm walking on clouds.
Yeah.
And that's a
My
flex
mom
right there.
literally had a closet full of Crocs because she was a nurse and on her feet all day, and they're just very comfortable shoes to be on your feet all day.
Yeah, it's just foam, which is like I'll do that when I'm gonna be on them for 6 hours in stilts. Yeah, I'll take foam.
Have I told you about like why? You know why Crocs are big. I don't need to tell you.
What?
So Crocs was going out of business until a movie that took place in the near future, or actually kind of far future, it doesn't matter. In the relatively near future, where everyone was idiots, they needed a future shoe. And so they hired this company that was almost fucking closed. They were almost like completely out of business to make all the shoes for this movie, and that's what saved them. And that movie was Idiocracy.
No way.
No way! Oh my
Yeah.
god, that's hilarious.
Yeah, that's why everyone wears Crocs in Idiocracy, because it looks both stupid and from the future.
Cause like they're just foam clogs.
Yeah,
Which is ugly and dumb, but comfiest goddamn shoe I ever wore, man.
Yeah.
So that they win. You fucking win, dude. I went right. I made a beeline. I thought I went. So I originally went because like I'm down to a size large. So like all of my fucking 3X shirts just look fucking disgusting on me now, and I just look like
all billowy. Yeah.
Yeah, all billowy and not good. So I was like, we're gonna hit up the old Hot Topic, my old stomping ground, to get some goth wear. So like I ordered a shirt. I ordered
This is the
shirt.
story of how he ended up in Crocs, by the way.
Yeah, hell yeah, bro. I ended up buying this shirt with the cute
The demon, yeah.
hot bunny demon. Ordered that online and had that fucking sent to the store, so I didn't have to pay shipping. I know it was the only way to get it. It was like there's some sales, some shit, doesn't matter.
Right.
So I ended up going there. They didn't have it in stock, but I was like, well, while I'm going to fucking there, I might as well pick up these shoes for the fucking cosplay I'm working on.
Right.
And I was like, well, what fucking shoes am I gonna go? Am I gonna go to like fucking Burlington? Am I going to clearance? Like, what the fuck am I gonna do? And I was like, fuck it, dude. The only thing that matters is my feet not screaming after 6 hours Crocs.
So
Nothing else.
I'm gonna pitch to you guys a scene right now. It's of a 30-plus-year-old Tony, seems a little aged out of the scene, walking into a Hot Topic, treating it like, oh yeah, I remember this place, and the young people who are there are like, oh, I guess this guy was it back in the day, huh? And they talk to him, and he seems pretty chill, and then he buys some stuff, and it seems like maybe he's letting the old cat out of the bag that he hasn't let out in a long time, letting himself indulge a little bit. And they watch him leave their establishment like, hell yeah, old guy, and then he walks directly into the Croc store.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And their face twists from hope to disgust.
Yes, sir. Not even sorry. Not even fucking sorry.
Goddamn.
No, the folks working at the Crocs place were really fucking helpful too. Like they instantly like they even asked me like what I was doing. They're like, well, what are you looking for? And I was like, I'm trying to make a cosplay. And they're like, oh, you're a cosplayer? And I was like, oh, I'm not going to say I'm a cosplayer, but I'm working on a cosplay. And then they, like, called, like, I guess their manager or something, someone with authority from the back. And she's like, yeah, this guy's a cosplayer. And I was like, oh, hi. And she's like, oh, you're going to work on a cosplay? I was like, yeah. I need something super... I was like, and I showed them the Cube-like cosplay that I'm basing it off of.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, gave them the whole sit rep. I was like, this is what I'm doing. I don't know. What do you guys recommend? And, yeah, they nailed it.
So
I think they nailed it. Well, that's the thing. I don't know if they nailed it technically.
Right.
If you're listening, ladies...
You could have gotten just sales.
Yeah, you could have duped me.
Yeah, they could have used Taekwondo of sales on you.
I did, like, insist to get one of the little foot booties. To, like, I'm not going to fucking wear shoes if I'm not going to fucking put a sock on. And I wore flip-flops there. Because I originally didn't intend to go get shoes.
Right.
I originally intended to go get a shirt. So I was in flip-flops. And, like, going shoe shopping in flip-flops is a fucking red flag, man. That's how you get goddamn foot fungus. Yeah. So, but they ended up having a little sock thing. That was nice.
That's nice. Yeah.
But yeah, I ended up wearing the shoe and trying it out, and it felt fucking amazing. But if it fails, it's no fault of theirs. It's just a matter of, like, can I put it on the wood block and duct tape it, and it conform to my foot without feeling weird.
Right.
Because it's foam, and it's not, like, tight to my foot already, it might squish weird and leave space that doesn't need to be there. There can't be any space, basically.
Right.
And you have, like, a tight thing so I can,
Right. Otherwise, it'll be like you lift up your leg and the foot only lifts up, like, half a second afterwards, and it looks real bad.
Yeah.
So... I'm thinking about, like, how you went through this store. I bet what happened was they're ready to hear so many things, like, oh, I'm taking up walking, or I am looking for something for sport, or like all the regular shoe buying needs.
Yeah.
And then you say, oh, it's for a cosplay, and people have the internet now. Most people know what that means.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you they don't have a sales pitch ready for it.
Well, they were both younger chicks, punk rock chicks. Like, they're all piercing up. They had the pierced up, and yeah, they were savvy, dude. That's why I was so comfortable just being like, okay, well, there's no way you guys don't fucking know what this is.
In which case, they probably were like, oh, everyone wants to get in on this. And
anyone with any sort of punk rock vibe, you are instantly an ally to me. Like, I just know you're probably Vogue with what I'm Vogue about, so I just, I'm going to talk to you.
But that also means that we need to keep an eagle eye out for all those little German nods.
Bro, that's why. That's exactly why that's the case, man. Like, sorry, anyway, yeah.
It's like that webcomic about the mushroom identification book where it's the gentleman's white cap or the fool idiot false gentleman white cap.
Yeah.
Instantly deadly and poisonous.
And they're exactly the
same. They look identical.
Well, like the fucking, the Black Sun. I didn't know the Black Sun was a thing until you told me the Black Sun was a thing.
Yeah.
And it sucks because there's a different tattoo that's like a sun with a face. It's like an Oberon thing. I don't fucking know what that one is. But it's not the Black Sun. They look to me, they look from a distance. They look
too similar.
They look too similar, and it's like I've only seen it. I saw it on my third grade teacher's ankle, and I always thought, oh, what a cool tattoo, like a little kid me. And it's interesting how these things are so formative because, it used to be if you get a tattoo, you're not getting a job. That was the kind of zeitgeist, and that was dismissed as early as fucking third grade for me.
Right.
And then the only other time I've seen that tattoo was on a porn star's thigh. But it's the same tattoo, but, way bigger.
It was the same woman.
Could have been! Or a daughter. I kept thinking, if this is her daughter, that'd be so awkward. It's been a long enough time. What a horrible thought.
Yeah. Could have lived a whole life. And then, I guess I'll go to
that's one of the most surreal things, is anytime a guy has, is just doing his business and, stumbles upon his daughter's porn. What do you, how do you handle that, man?
You build a killdozer, I think.
The only way left is forward. Yep. Endlessly forward.
Clearly the path that you are on and that you set your child upon is flawed. So there's only killdozer left.
The only way is kill. Only way. I imagine he just goes full Lord Humongous. just can't fucking compose himself anymore. Shaves his head.
Yeah.
Goes, strips down to his boxers. Puts on a harness. Builds the killdozer. Like, his wife's just like, honey, what are you doing? Backhands her. Shut up, woman. The only way is forward.
You didn't see what I saw.
You didn't see. There is no way. Only death.
Just walk away.